everybody, and welcome to Powerful Stuff. You guys, we are deep in the May gray here in Venice Beach with the marine layer coming in hot. So it's a Friday. I'm cozy in the house, and it's like one of those days where like someone canceled on a plan, and then I'm like, what should I do for the rest of the day? Because that was my plan. And then we're like, you know what? Let's just harness this energy to go rollerblading and to record powerful stuff. And hashtag blessed that I have the flexibility to block my schedule on a Friday to do stuff like this and to create this content that hopefully empowers you to go live your best life. So here we are. And this week in the upgrade, as all of you loyal listeners might remember, we're kind of following the journey of the upgrade group coaching program that I run. This is my 7th cohort. And this week is manifestation. Bow, bow, bow. Manifestation is this buzzword that we hear in Venice all the time. What does it even mean, right? I manifested this. I manifested this. I'm manifesting. Manifestation in progress. And it's so funny because I have a stoic New York mother, and when I talk about manifestation to her, she's like, isn't that the same as just doing something? Why don't you just do it? Why don't you stop overthinking it? And I'm like, you don't understand, Mom. There's like intentions involved and alignment and adaptogens, witches' cauldrons, all these things. No, but in all seriousness, manifestation, in my opinion, is just having intention around what you're ready to call in and then taking aligned action to get there. So manifestation without action is just wishful thinking. If we were just going to sit here and meditate our day away, nothing would happen, right? It's the getting clear on what we want to call in, starting to act as if that's already happening, acting as if showing up as that person in our life who already has it, and trusting in that even when we don't see the physical reality, projecting that to us. And then lo and behold, through taking these actions, we get the manifestation, but it might not be in the way we expect, and it might not be the thing that we expect. And this is what I was going over with the women in the upgrade this week, because some of them had some questions of like, what if I want to manifest something really specific? And I'm like, well, that thing that's really specific is really helpful in getting you to vision how you would show up once you have it, how you would feel having that thing or doing that thing, but then remain unattached to that thing being the actual literal vehicle that brings you that happiness, if that makes sense. So I like to say, drop expectation, hold the vibration, meaning when we're manifesting something like a partner or whatever, showing up as if like being the person that we're ready to attract, being the person that we're ready to date, for example, but being unattached to if the person we're dating is that person, or if that person we're going on that next date with is that person, or, oh, the person in my vision has, long hair and this person has short hair, so they must not be the person, or whatever it might be. Not getting bogged down by those details, but focusing more on how you feel around them. And if that feeling matches your vision, if you feel me. There's a lot to be said about manifestation, guys, but I broke it down in 5 steps for the ladies of the upgrade, and I'll go through it with you today and talk about some of my most powerful manifestations. So step number 1 is tap into the feeling. So the thing that you want to have, whether it's a lot of money or that new house, like how will you feel waking up in that new house? How will you move around that house feeling like expansive? Or if you want to have a lot of money, like what are you going to do with that money? How are you going to treat your friends to that money? What are the types of things that you're going to do to reinvest in yourself with that money? How are you going to help the world with that money? How does that money help you stay connected to your why? So then we're not just like fixated on like that dollar amount, but actually like what impact that has on our life and how we're showing up. When you have that much money, like how intentionally are you treating your wardrobe or your skin? Like how can you start, dressing that part right now? So step number 1 is tap into the feeling. So with whatever you're wanting to manifest, let's tap into that feeling right now. Like what is it that you're calling in? And just close your eyes. And for a moment, like, how would it feel once that thing already happens? Like, how will you be moving throughout your day? What kind of friends will you be having? Or what kind of things will you be doing with your friends? How will you be savoring the little moments in your day? Okay, now that we're tapped into that feeling, the second step in manifestation is gratitude, being grateful for what already is. And in this analogy, I like to say, like, imagine that you have a kid and your kid begs you for this toy all year long, and you finally give them this toy. And then as soon as they have the toy, they want the next toy. They want the 2.0 version. You'd be like, I'm not going to get you the 2.0 version because you're not even playing with or appreciating the one that you already have, right? Or similarly, it's like if you have like really amazing air fried potatoes on your plate and you haven't eaten them and then you go up for seconds, someone would be like, why are you coming up for seconds if you haven't eaten the ones you have on your plate? So similarly, gratitude is like when we're so grateful for what is, we're like squeezing every little lemon drop of what is. That's when we're ready to get more. That's when we're telling the universe, yes, more of that. So I'm going to go through my step 1 and step 2 as per my last or my greatest, one of my greatest manifestations of all time. My husband, my partner, my ride or die, Spencer. It's so funny because I say, I manifested him. And he's like, where's my agency in that? I manifested you too. I'm like, no, I manifested you. Okay. Anyways, so step 1 was tapping into the feeling, right? This started a year and a half before I even met him. I had dated a lot of guys that you guys, or you have heard me say these stories of like guys where they were emotionally unavailable. I didn't feel valued, but I was over proving because I wanted to prove I was worth it because I didn't fully like own that I was enough. And so a year and a half before I met Spencer, I always thought my celebrity crush was always Vance Joy. Vance Joy sings, lady coming down to the riptide, taken away to the dark side. Anyways, he's this tall, beautiful, 6'5" Australian man. And I like just loved him. And I would play Riptide when I was writing my dissertation at Oxford. I played it over and over and over when I was like in the bunker of the library, like cranking out 60 pages for my dissertation. Then in LA, I would play music in hospitals, Musicians on Call, it was called, for kids in hospitals. And I would play Riptide. I would play Riptide to little babies, like a slow version of it, and they loved it. Anyways, so as I was manifesting my dream partner, people would be like in Venice, like, Meredith, why are you single? And I'd be like, I'm just calling in my Vance Joy. And then I actually saw Vance Joy on the street walking by my house. And I was so starstruck that I didn't say anything. And then I made the promise to myself, if I see him again, I'm going to say something, right? Oh my gosh, like I'm going to manifest Vance Joy again. And lo and behold, guys, on Deepak Chopra's 21 Day of Abundance meditation, first day of it, I was at Erewhon in Venice Beach, which, as some of you might know, is the, C&BC grocery store in Venice Beach, LOL. And he was ordering a smoothie from the Elixir bar. And I went up to him and I started chatting with him about how big of an impact Riptide had on me. And I started explaining to him some of these Venice Beach elixirs like adaptogens and how they manage your stress levels. Because I was trying to give Vance some, Venice value while he was standing there waiting for his smoothie. And after that interaction at Erewhon, we didn't exchange numbers or anything. But I did write this song like a few weeks later. Lockdown happened. That was January 2020. And then March 2020, I was in lockdown. I was in Joshua Tree. I was looking up at the stars and I wondered, is Vance Joy thinking about me the same way I'm thinking about Vance Joy? And thus my song, Calling in You, was formed. And Calling in You goes, I'm calling in you, are you calling in me? If you only knew how good life could be, you'll see, you and me. And so that was kind of like my incantation, right? I wrote that about meeting Vance Joy, but really that song was about trusting that my life was so good and loving and living my life and not worrying about when my partner would come, right? Like I liked to have the perspective of like, if I knew that at 32, I was going to meet my partner, these are my last 2 years with Meredith, just me, myself, and I'm going to live it up. I'm going to fall in love with myself all over again. And so I did that. And I played that song to myself as a reminder that my Vance Joy is out there. And so step one, I tapped into that feeling, right? Who do I want to be when I'm with this person? How do I want to be showing up? And so I made what's called an ideal scene when I tapped into that feeling. And an ideal scene is like writing out like all the things in present tense that you want to be doing in that partnership. Or this is the example I'm going to give, but you can also do it for like a future job, your overall life, your relationship with money, your community. But in the case of the partnership, I wrote like, we are adventuring together. We are in love with each other's families. We are holding each other up at their best, even when we feel at our worst. We are like being so present with each other in the morning and evening, and having fun pillow talk. And I looked at those, and then the step for tapping into that feeling right now, which is step one, is I went through each of those ideal scenes, and I asked myself, am I doing this for myself right now? Or am I just sitting here waiting on my butt for my partner to do this? And so I made a few shifts there. I was like, am I spending my morning with myself like I would want my partner to spend with me? The answer was no, I was not. If I'm being honest, I would be scrolling on my phone in the morning and evening, not present time with Meredith. And so I ended up getting an alarm clock, a little Echo Dot, if you will. And I moved my phone outside of my room. So then in the morning, I would check in with myself. How am I feeling? Journaling. In the evening, same thing, being present with myself the way I wanted a partner to be with myself. So I'm going to pause there, guys. Step one, what is that feeling you're tapping into with your manifestation? How do you want to feel when it happens? How will you show up when it happens? And if it's not a partnership, maybe it's a community. It's like we are planning camping trips every month. We are doing family dinners at each other's house every week. We are inspiring each other. We are in different fields and learn so much from each other, whatever it might be. Or if it's like you and your work, I am constantly in my creative flow. I am at a place where I'm valued. I get paid to do what I love. I am interacting with inspired colleagues or collaborators, right? You don't have to have like certain details, but focus on that feeling. And then for those things, once you've written all those feelings down, I want you to stop and reverse engineer that and ask yourself, what are 2 things that are outside of my comfort zone that I could do right now? Right now, what could I be doing for those things? For example, for the community, if it's like we are hosting each other for family dinners every week, why don't you reach out to someone and tell them to bring reach out to 2 people tell them to bring a +1 that you don't know and invite them over for a dinner party at your house this week. Be the catalyst. Or if it's like the work thing of I am surrounded by and working with other people who inspire me, like reach out to someone in your field who inspires you and let them know and ask if you can grab coffee. So these are just the tiny shifts that start to get you into that energy of, oh yeah, I'm empowered to do that right here, right now, with myself. Yay. And then step 2. Okay, so that's what I did for myself. I was becoming the person I was ready to date. And I do want to say in that step 1, that it's really important to double down on your worthiness in this step. I'm worthy of feeling this way. And noticing if any self-limiting beliefs are coming up around what you think you deserve. And if they are, like kind of connecting to your inner self or your inner child and reminding them that they are enough, that you do deserve it. And then recommitting to that feeling, taking those actions, because we don't get change without action. So these ideal scenes of like the I am of you in the future are so important, guys. And then taking those actions, right? And so for mine, I did the things, like I got the alarm clock. I started like planning fun adventures for my friends the way I'd want to do it with my partner. That's step one. Okay. Step two, be grateful for what already is. So I know I kind of talked about this step before. And if you're watching this podcast on YouTube, a bunch of balloons just came up into the air. Powerful. But be grateful for what already is. So when I was thinking about, not having a partner yet, who are some of my friends who, like, they aren't my romantic partner, but like they're a really great friend. I love their families. They love my family. Or they plan adventures. I plan adventures, like that they have a lot of the qualities on my ideal scene for a partner. And why don't I send that friend a thank you for being there for me? Because it's helping my subconscious expand and know that, like, if I have a friendship that's this amazing and this reciprocal, I sure as hell am going to get a partnership that equals this. And so I sent thank yous and I doubled down on my friendships and reached out to friends and was like, thank you for being such an amazing friend for me through all these XYZ times. I'm so grateful for you. And I did little like surprise and delights or handwritten cards for friends, and out of the blue, not just on their birthday, but like the kind of things that I would, want a partner to do to me, but like doing it for my friends, because that's love too, And so that's one element of who are you grateful for, or how are you grateful for being right here, right now. And so that's the easy one, right? The things that are obvious that feel really good. And then there's two other layers to this. Number one is, what are you grateful for the triggers or the thorns, right? In the case of me manifesting my partner, like it would be looking at some of the guys that at the time, it felt like they broke my heart. And how am I grateful for them? What did that show me about what I do want and don't want in a relationship? What friendships came out of that relationship? How did I learn to love myself even more after that relationship? So really taking the time to enjoy and alchemize that gratitude. So I went through all of my ex-boyfriends and ex-situationships. I didn't necessarily text this to them, but I wrote it in my journal of like all the ways I was grateful for each and every one of them, for the memories, for what they taught me, for the qualities of theirs I did like, for the qualities that it awakened me to be desired. And then I imagined sending them love, and then their heart like receiving my love and them expanding even more, and there being nothing but love between us, to like also karmically clear and energetically cord cut from those ex-boyfriends. So I literally did that exact thing like the 6 months leading up to meet Spencer. And then the third element of step two, so it's like 2A, 2B, 2C, if you will, is what Gabby Bernstein calls driftwood and what Lacey Phillips calls expanders. These are two manifestation queens. And basically, it's like when you see other people in your field or in your orbit who have what you want, it's thanking them, as Gabby Bernstein calls it, that being driftwood, a little sign that you're on your path, right? If you're in the orbit of other people who are getting those things, then those things are on their way to you too, right? You're in the same field, you're on the same frequency. And Lacey Phillips calls them expanders because they are people who are expanding that capacity of what you think is possible for yourself. So let's say it's like a new, like you really want to go viral and have a huge content following, and like one of your friends goes viral and she gains 10,000 new followers or whatever it is. It's like, wow, thank you for showing me that that's possible, because that expands my perception for myself. Or like, I'm so grateful to be in that creative energy and know that that's right around the corner for me also. So rather than being like jealous or annoyed, or, someone else gets a promotion at work or they're crushing it and making the salary that you want to make, like, oh my gosh, like I love that that is in my field, because that shows me it's on its way for me. And I love this friend, and this friend loves me and honors and respects me. So how wonderful that they're showing me that that's possible. And in my case with the relationships, my three best friends from college, the 6 months before I met Spencer, were already like engaged or married with their life partner. And so I was just like, wow, I'm so fucking grateful that I have three best friends who are treated so well by their husbands, respected so much by their husbands. Their husbands adore them. They plan adventures for them. All of us hang out. Like, I'm so grateful that I have examples of healthy relationships. And I myself had friendships with all of their husbands. And like, we all got like a cabin together in Tahoe, like the month before I met Spencer. It was me, single Meredith, and like my friends and all their partners. And it's like giving gratitude to be around such healthy partnerships versus thinking, oh, I'm the only one in my friends who's single. This is so annoying, you know? And so, as I was saying, like sending someone who you either find as an expander or as driftwood a note and thanking them for showing you it's possible for yourself. Even if it's like an influencer you follow, just like letting them know how much like their lifestyle or whatever means to you. And that's like collaboration over competition as well, because if you are finding yourself comparing to someone, that blocks the manifestation energy. And so you want to replace that competition or comparison with collaboration and celebration. And so that is going to be the quickest way to shift out of that energy. So powerful. And so, yeah, I sent all of my friends little notes, like thanking them, like, wow, celebrating their partnerships. Step 2. Okay. Step 3, if you're with me, guys, is actually, well, which is kind of like step 1, but it's to actually taking the aligned action that we reverse engineered for tapping into the feeling. And also, you know what? I'm just going to call it step 3. Okay. I was like, should I call it step 4? And then we go from 2 to 4. No, it's going to be step 3, taking aligned action. But as I like to say this, it's also about like trusting the pings. And so a ping is like an intuitive hit that you get from the universe. So while you're manifesting, and just every day in general, because this is great practice to strengthen your self-trust, I want you to close your eyes and just be like, what am I meant to do today? Who am I meant to call? Who am I meant to reach out to? And just trusting the first thing that comes to your mind. Maybe it's a friend you haven't heard from in a long time and you send them a note and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you texted me today. Maybe the ping is to walk a different way to work. And then on that different walk way to work, you like meet someone that you like reconnect with, and then they send you this thing for this job. Who knows? But it's just about listening to your intuition and listening to these little things that seem so small, that end up like strengthening your self-trust and leading you to your manifestation. So that's called like trusting the pings. And then we get, and for me, for that step, trusting the pings is like, I was, like I had 2 pings when I met Spencer. The first step was to download Hinge in the first place, because I had just folded my beverage company, and I was actually remember it so vividly. My family has a beach house in New Jersey, and I was sitting in the back of the car on the way back to Newark Airport to fly back to Los Angeles, and my parents were driving, and I was folding my beverage company. And I'm like, I'm just going to go on a date like this next week, because this week I feel like I'm so in my masculine energy. Everything feels so heavy, shutting down the beverage company. I'm just going to go on a date. And I swiped a few. And then I saw this guy that was Canadian and had also done an Ironman triathlon, which I had done. And so I pressed like, and I sent him a little like comment about like how I had also done a triathlon. And that was my first ping. We ended up going on a date, and, well, actually there was 3 pings, guys. I totally lied. So we started chatting, and then he's like, how about you show me around Venice? And I was like, that sounds great. Are you new here? Is that why you want me to show you around Venice? He's like, no, I'm actually motorcycling from Canada to Argentina, and I'm just here for a few days. And then that part of me was like, oh, I should cancel the date. Like, why even bother? He doesn't even live in Venice. Like, what's the point? What a Casanova, just breezing through LA. And I was like, you know what? My ping is to go on the date, because why the hell not? And it'll remove expectation, right? Because with manifestation, you can't control it. You can't be like, well, my husband is going to be a guy who's been living in LA for 5 years and is this age, but when we meet and is ready to settle down. Like, it doesn't work like that. So in the spirit of being open, I went on the date, even though the old Meredith would have been like, why bother? I'm not going to go on this date. Like, he doesn't even live here. So that was the second ping. And then we went on the date and it was fun enough. But yeah, I had no expectation. Didn't think I would see him again. And so I gave him a tour around Venice. Then we parted ways. And then my third ping was a few days later. I thought he had already left Venice. I was making oatmeal at my house, and a coaching client had just canceled for the day. And so I was like, oh, maybe I'll go to the beach. That was my ping. And I look up from my window and he's parking in my parking spot. And he waves at me and I wave at him. And part of me was like, oh, I was going to go to the beach and just journal and be alone and reflect. But then I was like, maybe this is happening for a reason that I'm seeing this guy again. So I texted him, or he texted me first actually. And he's like, sorry, I hope it's okay. Park here. I just wanted a free parking spot to go to the beach. LOL. And I was like, you know what? I'm actually heading there myself if you want to keep me company. And it was that third ping of like, inviting him to join me on the beach, that where we ended up having our first kiss, where we ended up being like, he ended up being like, maybe I'll come back and like see you after I go to the Renegade burn. That set in the whole domino effect of our whole love story. And none of it would have happened if I didn't follow the first ping of downloading Hinge. 2, I didn't follow the second ping of just going on this date with this random guy that was just passing through LA. And 3, I didn't follow the third ping of inviting him to hang out at the beach with me or make oatmeal and look up from my window as I was doing it, you know? So these are all like divine little pings that guide the way and also help break through those layers of control that might be like, this isn't how I planned it, right? Okay. So what are those pings for you? I want you to tap into one right now, closing your eyes, taking a deep breath in and exhaling it out. And just like asking your highest self, what is a ping that I need to hear? That I can act on today. Trusting whatever it says. And then opening your eyes and taking action on it. Okay, step 4, guys. We made it. Step 4 is to trust and to trust in the magic dark and to keep showing up even when shit hits the fan. I like to say shit hits the fan before we expand. Shit hits the fan before we expand. And when we're in this place that Lacey Phillips likes to call the magic dark, like you might be showing up as if you might be doubling down on all of your self-worth practices and doing all the self-development, and your partner might still not show up, or you might be doing all these amazing things and you might be getting no's from all these jobs or whatever it might be. But that is when we strengthen our self-trust, because we're showing our subconscious like, I dictate how I feel, not these external circumstances. And that is so fucking powerful when you are having this centeredness and this equanimity and not dropping down to a lower frequency when something doesn't go the way you want, because it shows like unbreakable trust to be like, you know what, even if this isn't the thing, I know that something even greater is out there and I'm going to keep going. And manifestations don't just happen and then everything becomes hunky-dory. Like manifestations happen and then you have a new set of challenges at that higher level. It's like a video game where the levels keep getting harder and harder. And the challenges, instead of viewing them as hard or why me, being like, this is fun. How do I overcome this? Okay, this is a challenge. Let's go. Time to expand my belief system. Time to expand my strength or my capacity for what I feel is possible for myself. So all of that's to say, it's powerful. All of that's to say, guys, that when you're in the magic dark, it's just, you're being tested. You're operating at a higher frequency, at a higher cruising altitude, and you're just getting all this turbulence thrown at you. Like, can you handle it? Can you handle it? And are you not going to drop down and be like, oh, why me? change isn't possible? Or are you going to double it down and be like, no, I'm meant to be here? So I just like to say that step 4 is waiting and continuing to show up and continuing to trust in the lag time, which is what I did for months and months and months before I met Spencer, right? It was a year and a half between Vance Joy and Spencer. And in that year and a half, there were some guys that were situationships that kind of had a few green flags, but some red flags. And I had to call those out lovingly. Instead of like holding on or proving to that guy why he should pick me, be like, does this honor me? How do I feel in this energy? Is this type of situation that I want to be in? And clearly communicate with that guy so I knew if it was time to move on or not. And that also meant like focusing on myself and continuing to show up for myself even when I was feeling like lonely and sad and woe is me. And so that's really trusting in the lag time, whatever that is for you. And then step 5 is to celebrate your manifestation as it's happening, as it's coming true. Because again, this like, once you manifest that thing, like what's the point of having it if you're like on to the next, you know? And so step 5 actually puts you back at step 2 of like enjoying it, savoring it, saying, yes, thank you so much. Because guess what? That's how life keeps getting better and the journey keeps getting richer and you keep expanding. So once you get that manifestation, like savor it, be with it, celebrate your ability to attract it, right? Like that's why like Spencer and I, now that he is my husband and I manifested him, like, you know, we keep doing date nights every week where we try to plan something novel for the other, where we continue to each night show each other, say one thing that we love or are grateful about the other. If the other one is out grocery shopping, picking the other like a sweet little snack, like doing things to surprise and delight each other, and really like savoring what we've already called in and not taking it for granted. So I know I used my relationship as a manifestation for this one, but I also want to share about community. And, you know, a few years ago, or like a year ago, like some friendships in LA were shifting, and I had some really good friends from school, a lot of them in San Francisco and 1 or 2 in LA. And I was like, I really want to have even more friends in LA who are like around my age, who I'm super like inspired by, who are doing cool entrepreneurial things, but also more than anything, like me, are instigators of really adventurous or novel plans. Like sometimes I felt like in certain friend groups, I was like the one making all the plans. And if I didn't make it, it wouldn't happen. And I made an ideal scene around communities and, or around my like next community. And then lo and behold, like a few new friends entered my life through WhatsApp groups. And, I ran into one of them, when we were both skiing at like Mammoth, and I was really proactive about following up and like investing in those friendships and being the friend that I wanted to attract, right? Like creating a cool experience, introducing them to some of my other friends that I really love, you know, texting them thank you after hanging out, like planning fun game nights. And lo and behold, it was reciprocal. And then as I was investing in those like more and more, through those friends, I started to meet more and more people, and like this new blended community was formed. But it came from me getting a little out of my comfort zone, right? Like reaching out to like different or being proactive in different WhatsApp groups, or showing up to events, or reaching out to someone that I like wasn't fully like friends with yet. And then being like really proactive and following up and not having an ego about like, hey, like that was so fun, let's hang out again. And so I just wanted to give a few other examples outside of the romantic one of how these manifestations can work. And you can also like use this process for like, you know, the types of clients you want to call in. If you're a coach or you're a consultant, like the types of people you want to be working with, how you want them to find you. So this is very powerful, and let's just drop into a meditation to just seal it all in, and then we'll kind of close it out, guys. Wow. I'm so excited to see what you're manifesting. Definitely DM me, send me an email, send me a note. I want to hear it. I want to hear what you're manifesting. And I hope you join me and continuing to also celebrate each other's manifestations. And that was another thing that we did at the upgrade this week is each woman, after she shared her vision, the other women reflected back to her the qualities they saw in her that could make that vision possible, or visions that expanded, yes-anded her vision. And so another way to supercharge your own manifestation is to share with friends like the power that you see in them. Okay. I know, I was like, I can talk about manifestation for days, y'all. Okay, so let's close our eyes, take a deep breath in, and exhaling it out. And another deep breath in, and exhale, release. And then third and deepest breath, and exhale. And as you turn your gaze inward, imagining that a magic wand has been waved, and the thing you want to manifest is already here. It's already here. You already have it. As you breathe in that truth and that possibility, imagine this perfect day in this vision where you already have this manifestation. How are you waking up, getting out of bed, feeling so grateful for this? How does it shift how you move through your morning and how you show up in your morning? Breathing into that energy. How does it shift how you dress or get ready or hold yourself as you transition into the rest of your day? How does it shift and deepen the joy that you have as you're working, the types of things you're doing at work, how you feel valued? What kind of things you're doing to expand and learn and grow? And then how does it elevate your community, who you're spending time with, the kind of things you're doing, the kind of experiences you're creating for yourself or your friends or your broader community? Feeling into that, seeing yourself move through that, feeling it right now in your heart. How does it make you feel as you wind down in your day? Are you with someone else? How is that interaction feeling? How is that deepening? How do you feel so seen and held with this other person, if that's part of your vision? What kind of things are you doing together? And in this perfect day, imagining going into your bathroom, looking at yourself in your mirror, looking at that version of you who already has this thing, just noticing their energy, their smile, touching your hand to theirs in the bathroom, feeling that electricity, knowing that you have that feeling in you right now. It's already here. And as you touch their hand in the mirror, they hand you this beautiful golden egg through the mirror. And you hold it in both of your hands. And you open it up and you feel this beautiful cosmic light wash over you. This light of trust that everything is happening for you and your highest good. And as you look in this golden egg, you ask it for the perfect aligned action to take next to bring your manifestation to reality. The perfect aligned action to take next. Hearing what it says, trusting what it says, thanking it. And then breathing that manifestation energy up through your root, breathing that light up your navel, up your heart, up your throat, up your third eye, out the crown of your head, your whole body pulsing with this cosmic light. And as it's pulsing with this cosmic light, sending that cosmic light to people that you appreciate who have helped you get here, who have helped you step into this next iteration. Sending it to those who have been mentors or friends along the way, feeling them get it. Sending it to those who have been challenging but have taught you something. Maybe it was triggering, but they're a teacher in disguise, sending them love as well. And then sending it to the other people, the driftwood, the expanders, the people who are already doing the thing that you're ready to call in. And then feeling all of that gratitude energy come back to you and expand your heart, giving you the surety that it's already on its way as long as you continue to show up as that version of you who already has it. Breathing this in, taking a deep breath in, and exhaling it out. Another deep breath in. And exhale, releasing it, knowing that it's true, letting go of the when, and trusting that it is. And third and deepest breath in, breathing in that feeling right now, filling it up to 110% and exhaling it out. And then opening your eyes, coming back into this space. Wow, guys. So just writing your ideal scene down, anything that came up after that meditation. I am this, I am doing this in this scene, I am feeling this way, and really stay connected to the feeling. So to recap, step 1, tap into that feeling right now. How are you feeling when you already have that thing? How can you start to feel it right now? Step 2, be grateful for what is, the most obvious things that you're grateful for, and the people who triggered you. How are you grateful for them, or who broke your heart, or who disappointed you at work, or whatever it might be. Sending them gratitude, sending the people who you compared yourself to gratitude for expanding your realm of possibility. And you can supercharge step 2 by sending actual notes of gratitude to the people who have impacted you or who inspire you. Step 3 is trust in the pings. What is a ping that you're getting right now? What is an aligned action you can take? Step 4, trust in the magic dark, as Lacey Phillips would say. Continue to show up, act as if, even when you're not getting those data points in your physical reality, using that as a challenge, like a fun game, like, okay, I'm bringing my A game. We're going to step it up. It's mile 22 of the marathon. Let's fucking go. And then step 5, celebrate it. Celebrate it as it's starting to unfold. Start to notice the signs everywhere. Choose to notice the signs and make it be so. Woo! We did it, guys. We manifested. Please tell me what your manifestations are. I would love to hear. And if you want to see me in person, come to one of my best morning evers every Monday on Venice Beach. We're doing yoga, connection, journaling, all the powerful stuff things. And then May 31st, we have a variety show with music, comedy, and connection. It's going to be so powerful. Would love to see you at either of those. And of course, if you want to go deeper on your self-development journey with power and a little bit of humor, you can contact me for one-on-one or group coaching as well. My next group coaching program, The Upgrade, starts in July. So would love to hear from you, and stay tuned next week for more powerful stuff.